So I'm Monika, and I'm here to present my preliminary results of my research project as part of my digital communication master's degree. Online resources sometimes publish fake or intentionally misleading information. I studied the role of Facebook group disseminating fake news about COVID-19 vaccines. The research focused on key activities in Australian anti-vax Facebook group posts, specifically in relation to COVID-19 vaccination. Sorry. Some words about the research background, why I choose Facebook. Facebook is the most popular mass media platform worldwide, over with 2.5 billion monthly active users. According to studies, Australian mass media users are one of the most active consumers in the world. The total number of active users is around 60% of the country's population on Facebook, and 50% of people check Facebook at least once a day. Why I choose Facebook groups? I focus on Facebook groups because a number of studies have stated that fake or misleading information is often disseminated unhindered in these groups. Facebook groups allow people to discuss common interests and express their opinions. Users may organize around a common topic, and they can express objectives, discuss issues, post images, and share related content. These groups are similar to discussion forums, where users can share photos, links, and updates with other people. Why COVID-19 vaccination? In my research, I focused the COVID-19 vaccination from 3 reasons. First, there is a high number of misunderstanding and misinformation on the internet about negative effects of vaccinations. For example, online science claims that vaccine causes mortality and long side effects, despite the fact that academic studies in the medical literature have since debunked these myths. Second, despite the World Health Organization's recommendation that people get their immunization, people report safety concerns as one of the top reasons for not being vaccinated. Finally, vaccines represent an important health concern for the general public because when individuals receive vaccination, they also protect the community through herd immunity by preventing the further spread of disease to those individuals unable to vaccinated. Research questions. I examine how Facebook groups are used to distribute fake news. The objective of this research project is to answer the question, what the key activities in anti-vax Facebook groups in Australia? The analysis helped identify the content with which the anti-vax group members support each other and try to influence those uncertain about the vaccination. To effectively explore the spread of fake news in Facebook groups, the following research questions will be addressed. What are the key activities in Australian anti-vax Facebook group posts? What type of posts have the most engagement in anti-vax groups? To what degree do Australian Facebook anti-vax groups serve as an echo chamber for misinformation? Manipulating the masses with fake news is a technique of the same age as humanity. In parallel with the worldwide spread of the internet, monitoring the reliability and authenticity of information is becoming an increasingly serious problem in everyday life and in the scientific world too. Numerous studies have been conducted in recent years on the fake news phenomenon and fight against its spread. What is the fake news? To analyze the post, we need to define the concept of fake news. According to the broader definition of fake news refers to news articles that have no factual basis but appear as news. Other scholars define misleading information as news created for financial gain that contains information similar to authentic journalism but completely false. After learning about the definition of false news, it's important to study what Facebook has done to stop the fake news. Content moderation is monitoring and applying predefined rules and policies to user-created posts to determine if content can be published online. Long before the virus appeared, social media players made an increasing effort to curb the spread of misinformation. However, various platforms have made slow progress towards moderating harmful content so far. In the current situation, it appears that much more effective and stronger measures have been taken than before. However, they still face a number of challenges due to the insufficient number of human moderators and the mistakes of artificial intelligence. To interpret my research findings, we need to understand the concepts of group. One of the media scholars defined online communities as a group of people with common interests and who use the internet to communicate following 5 qualities: a sense of space, shared practice, shared researches and support, shared identities, and interpersonal relationships. Platforms can use their algorithms to personalize the content perceived and accessed by each user on the data collected about them. With this method, they can create echo chambers which are reinforce existing perspective and foster confirmation bias. There have been previous studies conducted on the harmful effects on social media with the rise of anti-vaccination movements. Numerous studies have been conducted on vaccine groups, their function, and psychological background based on behavior analysis. Another study has been conducted on misinformed social movements. Naomi Smith and Tim Graham conducted a large-scale study mapping in the anti-vaccination movement on Facebook. According to the current literature, the research group relates the content type of anti-vaccination groups of Facebook COVID-19 that intend to analyze in this study. The project aims to answer a previously unexplored critical question: what are the key activities in Australia anti-vax Facebook group post? The purpose of this study to investigate which type of activities are the most popular. Understanding the spreading of harmful misinformation can help platforms to improve their moderation process. I choose Facebook as it's the most popular mass media platform worldwide, and I explore the role of Facebook groups in spreading false information. I collect data on the content and types of posts shared by Facebook groups that promote the discussion of anti-vaccine beliefs. I identify anti-vaccine Facebook groups by performing a keyword search on anti-vax in Facebook and filtering the search results by Facebook groups. I choose the Unvaxxed Australia group because it has more than 46,000 members, making it the largest anti-vaccination group in Australia. The members of the group are very active, posting more than 200 messages per day. The data set in this study was collected manually, and I collected data from this group for all posts on 4th of May. I have chosen a single day due to the large amount of data and the fact that Facebook doesn't allow the collection of this data using automatic methods. For each post, I collected the message, links, reactions, comments, and the type of the post. I also observed the cumulative number of likes, comments, and reactions. The basic user metrics are based on the count of comments and reactions sent by each user. This gives valuable data on their engagement with the post exchange. In order to get more detailed insights from the dataset, I need to break down the data by category. Based on the available data, the post can be divided into 7 major groups: sharing anti-vaccination, articles and videos, non-vaccine related content, personal experiences, question, fun, advice, and conspiracy theories. I use quantitative and qualitative analysis during the study. I choose content analysis because it is a research process that allows conclusion to be drawn from textual data that can be read from the structure of the text. In order for content analysis to be saturated with meaning and work according to the same system, the connection patterns of the concepts, I need to do preparatory work. This includes sampling, defining units of analysis, and coding. The content analysis after the preparatory stages can be divided into 3 basic work phases. The first phase is the coding phase. In this section, part of the text are grouped into predefined categories. As I mentioned earlier, I categorize 7 different categories. These categories are formed in the process of the analysis. The second stage is the analysis stage. In this part of the work, I process the code content here. Here, I examine the number of individual occurrences of the given code category. The third stage is interpretation. The tendency-like co-occurrences of the text make it possible to deduce the regularities and become interpretable. The first question what I intend to answer is my research. What are the key activities in Australian anti-vax Facebook group post? I analyzed 212 posts. Studying the post, I concluded that they can be divided into 7 different types, as I mentioned earlier. The data suggests that members primarily use Facebook groups to share information. As my graph shows, a vast majority of posts consist of links. To a lesser extent, users share non-vaccinated related content, personal experiences, questions, and fun. And they very infrequently post advices and conspiracy theories. This suggests that Facebook groups primarily disseminate information from other sources. Our diagram shows the top 4 domain shares in the Facebook groups. Many links direct users back to Facebook and back to YouTube. Interestingly, the third most popular links point to the Rumble.com site, which is a video sharing platform with less moderation than YouTube. The Turning Point Australia's web page has the last position in the top list. As elections are imminent, they are likely to post their views on the election on a number of platforms and in groups. My next question is, what type of posts have the most engagement in anti-vax groups? To make observations about the engagement, I inspected the average number of comments and reactions by earlier mentioned categories. The reactions can be called as affordances. What are the affordances? In media studies, platforms and environments that afford different possibilities for actions to their users. There are 6 main affordances that can be linked to Facebook emotional reactions: love, hug, surprise, cry, angry, ha ha ha. The Facebook algorithm puts emphasis on reactions over likes to determine what content will be sent to the news feed. I concluded the posts that reach the most reaction are the fun themes. These posts usually contain images. The users tend to react for personal stories too, and they're happy to react to questions. They even interested in non-vaccine related topics. Although most of those are related to election, which is currently a trending topic. Although most posts come from shares, they trigger a low number of reactions. The average comment number shows a different top list compared to the reactions. Group members are eager to comment on personal stories. Interestingly, I found only a low number of posts about conspiracy theories, but they got a high number of comments. Not only do funny posts lead a large number of reactions, but many people also comment on them. This paper examines how false information spread on social networking sites using Facebook as a case study. I studied the role of anti-vaccination groups on Facebook in spreading false information. In this report, I analyzed the Facebook activity in the Unvaxxed Australia group. I found out that based on the dataset, funny themes reached the most reaction and personal stories provoked the most comment. Our data suggests that members primarily use Facebook groups to share information because a vast majority of posts consist of links. This suggests that Facebook groups primarily disseminate information from other sources. When evaluating the data, we need to take into account that this data set has a limited size. In my future work, I intend to learn as much as possible about the most popular activities in Facebook anti-vaccination groups and answer the question of whether these Facebook groups serve as an echo chamber. Done.